Over the years, some automakers have advertised the quality of their vehicles with the phrase precision engineering. One maker has even said that the same amount of precision engineering required in the manufacture of aircraft goes into every one of their vehicles. Well, we say that's impressive. But how many of us would look at one of these impressive, finely tuned machines and think for 1 second that it just came together by chance? Could we believe that an impressive series of natural accidents somehow came together and formed this vehicle? Reasonable thinking would not believe that. However, that is what many people want us to believe about the universe we live in, a universe which has more precision engineering than any one of these cars. You think about what holds this universe together. You think about why the Earth can sustain life at all. The perfect gravitational pull, the rotation, the tilt, the balance between oceans and land, the distance from the moon. If anything had been off by just a few degrees, this universe could not have come together and this Earth could not support any life at all. Could this have been one big, grand, cosmic accident? Reasonable thinking doesn't think so. Reasonable thinking points to precision engineering. And we say just how precise? Well, the authors Bert Thompson and Brad Harrab write that as the Earth moves in its orbit around the Sun, it departs from a straight line by only 1/9 of an inch every 18 miles. If it departed by 1/8 of an inch, we would come so close to the Sun that we would be incinerated. If it departed by 1/10 of an inch, we would find ourselves so far from the Sun that we would all freeze to death. And you got to remember, this is keeping on a perfect course at 70,000 miles an hour. I don't know of any German-made car that can hold its line that well. You see, that's the kind of engineering that leads astrophysicist Paul Davies to write, "There is for me powerful evidence that there is something going on behind it all. It seems as though somebody has fine-tuned nature's numbers to make the universe." Well, we know the somebody is who David mentions in Psalm 8. "When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the son of man that you care for him?" The somebody is who David talks about in Psalm 19. "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork." The somebody is who Paul writes about in Romans 1. "For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made." You see, you look at what's been made, and it's impossible not to see a maker behind it. It's impossible to see precision engineering and not see that there's an engineer. Now, we see this engineering not only through telescopes, but through microscopes. Marvin Olasky once wrote, "With no knowledge of the world of nanotechnology within living cells, Darwinians until recent decades saw living cells as somewhat like Lego blocks. Now we know that cells have complex circuits, sliding clamps, energy-generating turbines, rotors, stators, O-rings, U-joints, and drive shafts." Is this microengineering or a macro accident of nature? Again, the answer seems obvious. Even scientist Richard Dawkins, who's one of today's leading atheists, he recognizes the complexity and the intricacy of our micro-universe. He says each nucleus contains a digitally coded database larger in information content than all 30 volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica put together. And yet we're expected to believe that objects of such complexity and precision could have been generated through random forces of nature. I am sorry, but I don't have enough faith to believe that. I don't have the faith to believe that a tornado sweeping through a junkyard could assemble a Mercedes. You see, if a precision-engineered vehicle assumes an engineer, then the precise architecture of the universe assumes an architect. And the more impressive that design, the more impressive the designer.